Myself and my family were on holiday in England, and we went to the River Wye, and we crossed the bridge over the Wye back into Wales. It was a wobbly bridge, and my mum doesn't like wobbly bridges. That was fun. We crossed the Wye back into our home Wales. It was a good thing because we were out of England. England wasn't our home. We were just passing through. Our home was across the river. Now, in life, we have a world full of people who are longing for a different world, who are dissatisfied with this life, dissatisfied with the pain and the sickness and the cruelty of this world, and who are longing for an eternity of a different world, a world full of satisfaction, a world full of healing, peace, world peace, comfort, hope, security. They are yearning for an eternity of heaven. God intended for us to see this futility because he has wired us this way. It says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11, he has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. So God set eternity in our hearts, and in eternity there will be no more crying or pain. In Hebrews chapter 11, it talks about the heroes of faith who knew that this world was not theirs, who knew that they were just passing through this world, and who were longing for an eternity of heaven. As it says in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 16, instead, they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. One of the heroes of faith is Abraham, and he really stood out to me because Abraham moved from one place to another. He didn't stop in one place. He pitched his tent down, he built an altar, he worshipped, and then he moved on to the other place. He didn't settle down in one place. He pitched his way around, moving from one place to another, but his worshipping was permanent. Abraham was looking. He was longing for a different world. He was a heavenly homeland. He was traveling through this world, worshipping as he went, for he knew that this world was not his, but eternity in heaven was. Friends, there is good news because God doesn't want us to only think of the futility of this world. He doesn't want us to only think of the dissatisfaction, the pain and the suffering. God doesn't want us to only wait and long for an eternity of a different world that we all desire, a heavenly world of satisfaction. But Jesus meets us in our dissatisfaction. He meets us in our pain. He meets us in our crying. He meets us in our hardships. He meets us in our suffering. He meets us at the border. In Genesis chapter 28, verses 10 to 17, it says, Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. When he reached a certain place, he stopped for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones there, he put it under his head and lay down to sleep. He had a dream in which he saw a stairway resting on the earth, with its top reaching to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. There above it stood the Lord, and he said, I am the Lord, your God, of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and you'll spread out to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. All people on earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. I am with you, and I will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I promised you. When Jacob awoke from his sleep, he thought, surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it. He was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven. Jacob had a dream in which he saw a stairway or a ladder, depending on which version you're reading, reaching heaven with angels ascending and descending on it. Above it stood the Lord. When Jacob awoke, he said, "How awesome is this? God was here, and I didn't even realize it." Then he went on to say that this is the gate of heaven, the border of heaven. Almost 2,000 years later, Jesus fulfilled Jacob's dream to Nathanael, as it says in John chapter 1, verse 51. He then added, "Very truly I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." Jesus is saying that he is the gateway of heaven. He is the gateway of heaven. There are other verses like this. For example, John chapter 14, verse 6. "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." You may be thinking, "Cameron, how does Jesus meet me at the border? How can I cross the border into the gateway of heaven, a world of satisfaction?" Well, that's simply by putting your trust in Jesus, by accepting him into your heart, by acknowledging that we have sinned and fallen short of God's glory, and acknowledging that he died and rose on that cross to save us from our sin. John chapter 3, verse 16. "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life." And go across the border into an eternity of a different world that we all desire. A world of satisfaction. A world where there will be no more crying or pain. Heaven. My final point is that in Jesus we can have a taste of heaven. We can have a taste of heaven here, right now on earth. When we trust in Jesus, and when we trust in Jesus and have that taste of heaven right here on earth, we can bring that taste of heaven to the world around us. When we trust in Jesus and have that taste of heaven, we can bring that taste of heaven to the world around us. We can live in hope, peace, love, joy, forgiveness, happiness, etc. Jesus said in John chapter 10, verse 10, "The thief only comes to steal and kill and destroy. I have come so that they may have life and have it to the full." And as it says in the Lord's Prayer, "Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven." We can live the satisfaction of heaven right now on earth. We can live that satisfaction. And I recently listened to a song by John Foreman and Lauren Daigle called "A Place Called Earth." And it says, "Oh, how I long for heaven in a place called earth, where every son and daughter will know their worth, where all the streets resound in thunderous joy. Oh, how I long for heaven in a place called earth." Thank you.